What's up, guys? Ninth Jim here, bringing another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today we're going to be talking about Grimmsnarl, the new prankster type Pokemon from the new gen Dark Fairy type Pokemon. Really odd, I believe unique, really cool Pokemon. Awesome ability, prankster. One of my favorite all-time abilities, being giving you a +1 priority to all of your status category moves, which is awesome. So, and this Pokemon has so many. So, like, you can use screens, it's priority. You can use status moves like Swagger or Thunder Wave, and then, yeah, it's awesome. But just make sure to keep in mind that up against Dark type Pokemons, this won't do anything. So in the mirror match, like against another Grimmsnarl, if you Thunder Wave it, it will fail. If you Swagger it will fail. So just keep that in mind. But you can still use your screens, which is really, really useful. So anyway, this Pokemon is awesome. We'll go down to its stats here real quick. So starting it off, we'll look at some of its bulk. Actually, HP 95, 65 defense, and 75 special defense. Not amazing bulk. Pretty decent HP, but not great defense and special defense. 75 and 65 is not great. And then we also have 120 attack, which is like good attack, but we're not really using him to attack as it's just like statusing everything. And then 60 speed, which also doesn't matter that much usually, as we have prankster, so we're going to be faster than everything else without priority anyway. So keep that in mind. That just doesn't matter that much. We can talk about its move pool here, but I mean, we might as well just go into the builds because I have the majority of the good moves on here already anyway. So we're going to go ahead and look into the first build here. Prankster, obviously. Light Clay is a really good item for this, as it makes Light Screen Reflect last 8 turns instead of 5. So since we're using both of those, this just allows you to have screens up essentially the entire game, unless something like a Brick Break comes in, or if your opponent fake outs the first turn and then kills you with like an Excadrill or something, then you won't be able to get them up. But if you do get them up, then they're up for the whole game, essentially 8 turns, which it doesn't mean the whole game, but it's a long time, and that's really, really powerful. Light Screen has the damage of special attacks, and then Reflect has the damage of physical attacks, which is really, really powerful for both Pokemon. So Light Screen, Reflect, your Pokemon are all just absolutely bulky out of nowhere. So that's really, really good. So that's great. And then we also have Thunder Wave. Prankster Thunder Wave is priority. It's good speed control. It hits only 90% of the time, but still that's pretty good. If you don't know what Paralyze does, is it makes you it makes you fail to attack sometimes. I think it's 25% of the time, and then it also halves your speed in general, so it counts as great speed control. It's essentially backwards tailwindsing one Pokemon, so it's very, very powerful. Thunder Wave is really good, but just keep in mind that it doesn't work against the ground boys like Excadrill and stuff like that. But you know, Thunder Wave is still very, very powerful. And then for our last option, or our last move, we have Foul Play. This can be something else. This could be Fake Out. This could be Spirit Break. Really anything that damages. But the reason I have it as Foul Play is it's good stab. Spirit Break is also very good, but we just have it in Foul Play right now. It's the most standard for what you'll see, being 100% accuracy, 95 power, very, very powerful. So yeah. That's awesome. And then also the reason I don't have Fake Out here is because I find myself like not switching it out very frequently, and then you only get to Fake Out once, and then after you like spread some status and put up your screens, this guy's doing nothing. It's actually just sitting there. So that's why I like Foul Play on here as the last option. But it really can be Spirit Break as well, very easily. So anyway, we're going to talk about this spread. This is a little weird spread. It's just the most played spread on Pikalytics right now, which is like a very good resource to use. It's max HP, 4 in attack, 4 in speed, and then 188 in defense and 60 in special defense. Impish Nature giving you plus defense minus special attack, since you don't use that at all. But we want to be like rather bulky, since we're Light Clay instead of Focus Sash, so that you are Light Clay, you put up both of your screens, and then you should be able to live with screens and pretty okay bulk. You should be able to live for a good while to be able to put up more screens and spread some paralysis and even hit Foul Play potentially sometimes too. So that's the first build here, Light Clay, Prankster, very, very powerful. Put up screens and spread paralysis. So yeah, that's the first build. The second one we have is a pretty interesting build here. Eject Button with Trick. This is essentially the Dynamax killer. You put Eject Button on him, you trick it into a Pokemon. If you don't know what Eject Button does, is if a holder is hit, then it switches out. So if you read your opponent's first turn Dynamax, then you Eject Button, you trick your Eject Button onto a Pokemon, and then you hit with something like a Quick Attack or a Bullet Punch, or essentially anything with priority you attack with. And then you give it to the Dynamax Pokemon, and then you hit it, and then it switches out, effectively killing off their Dynamax. They don't get a Dynamax that game, which puts you in a pretty commanding position right off the bat. So that's a really, really interesting option. The obvious thing is that if your opponent doesn't Dynamax turn 1, then this kind of crumbles a little bit. But they don't get to see what item you have when they start off unless they're using Frisk. So you can hold this kind of hidden for a minute, which is very, very useful. So yeah, Trick, Eject Button, really, really cool. Then we also have Thunder Wave, Reflect, and Foul Play. This can obviously be whatever you need more, Reflect or Light Screen. You know, whatever your team is. If your whole team is very physically defensive and you have Will-O-Wisp on multiple Pokemon, use Light Screen to patch up that weakness. Or the other way around, if you have like Snarl, Arcanine as your start usually, then just play Reflect or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's that. And then we just have a very basic standard build here, just all into special defense, all into HP and special defense, and then 4 into defense, and then Calm Nature so that we're plus special defense and minus attack. I guess it should actually be plus special defense and minus special attack here. So, or I said plus special defense. Oh well, you get it. Very, very powerful here, being the Trick Eject Button is awesome. Anyway, on to our next one. This isn't an actual build as much as just Overflow. Just other options we have: Fake Out, Spirit Break, Swagger, and Taunt. These are both very powerful attacks here as well. Taunt being able to stop things. Opposing Pokemon, obviously not Grimmsnarl in the mirror match because, like I said, Prankster won't work for Darks. But something against like a Snorlax that you expect to Belly Drum or Curse, and then taunt it, and then it just loses its first turn. They have to just switch out, or they have to start attacking with a +0 Pokemon, so it's not really doing anything. And then also taunting things like Whimsicott is another very, very good option. Being able to stop things like Tailwind, stopping a whole lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. So that's really good as well. Swagger is another really good option. You can swagger your own Pokemon. I've seen that happen with like own tempo Pokemon, where you just give them essentially a +2 in attack, which is pretty good. And also just spreading confusion on things is very, very powerful as well. And then, like I said, Spirit Break is another option for just your attacking move in general. 100% chance to lower the target's special attack by 1. Very powerful. It's like a Hyper Voice. Why did I say Hyper Voice? It's like a Mystical Fire. Very, very powerful. And then Fake Out, like I said, is a good option as well. And then for our item, Overflow item is Babbery Berry. This is another option that you can use. It just has the damage of super effective Steel type attacks. Single use, it's a consumable. So keep that in mind. So Babbery Berry is a good option as well. On to some checks here. Some really powerful stuff against it. Neutralizing Gas, Galar Weezing is very good against Prankster in general. It doesn't give them any access to their abilities, so then they go for a status move, and then you just kill it with something like an Excadrill beforehand anyway. Using Iron Head or Max Steel Spike will definitely kill this, especially without Reflect. With Reflect, you still kill with Max Steel Spike if you are max attack. So if you're not like Assault Vest, if you're using this and plus like Life Orb, or I think even Focus Sash kills. So, but if they don't get Reflect up, like it's a dead Grimmsnarl with Excadrill. So keep that in mind as well. And then Togekiss Safeguard. We've seen a couple of Safeguard Togekisses going around pretty recently. Very strong support Togekisses. So Safeguard is a good option as well. And I've seen Arcanine even running Safeguard as well. So keep that in mind. If your opponent, if you think Safeguard is going to happen, then be very careful of Thunder Waving them, although you will have priority over them. But if they start with like Weezing Arcanine and go for a Safeguard, don't go for Thunder Wave. Just something to keep in mind. Safeguard is an option. And then Excadrill will just kill you, and Weezing will neutralize your Prankster. So keep that in mind also when you're playing this Pokemon. There are some powerful countermeasures to be taken in against Grimmsnarl. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this Pokemon. Overall, just a very good support Pokemon. Amazing with screens, amazing with statusing, swagger, Thunder Wave, pretty decent attack stat to throw with the Foul Play. Actually, very good attack stat, but we're not investing into attacks, so it's just a pretty good attack stat overall. But yeah, I mean, that's just about it for Grimmsnarl. Awesome Pokemon, awesome dude. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and like and subscribe, and yeah, comment down below if you want to see any Pokemon in future videos. So thank you for watching, and have a good evening or a morning.